everyone. Excuse me sitting on the floor of my lounge. I want to talk today about simple trust, and it's something that I'm kind of working through in my season, so I thought maybe it'll encourage some of you if I talk about it. So I'm going to read a story from Luke 7 verse 1 to 10, and it says, "When he finished speaking to the people," this is Jesus, "he entered Capernaum. A Roman captain there had a servant who was on his deathbed. He prized him highly and didn't want to lose him. When he heard Jesus was back, he sent leaders from the Jewish community asking him to come and heal his servant. They came to Jesus and urged him to do it, saying, 'He deserves this. He loves our people. He even built our meeting place.' Jesus went with them. He was still quite far away from the house, and the captain sent friends to tell him, 'Master, you don't have to go to all this trouble. I'm not that good a person, you know. I'd be embarrassed for you to come to my house, even embarrassed to come to you in person. Just give the order and my servant will get well.' Taken aback, Jesus addressed the accompanying crowd. 'I've yet to come across this kind of simple trust anywhere in Israel, the very people who are supposed to know about God and how He works.'" So I was thinking about this simple trust and how sometimes we know it in our minds that it needs to happen, needs to exist for us to have faith, but it's way harder to apply it. And I want to talk about how do we move that knowledge from our head to our heart. And I'm going to use my grade 4 learners as an example. Being a teacher helps with these things sometimes. So I'm going to talk about 3 ways in which we can build that simple trust. Firstly is the knowledge of the nature of Christ, then the belief in the power of Christ, and thirdly the belief in the plan of Christ. So knowledge in the nature of Christ is knowing His character, knowing who you're believing in and trusting that. So as a teacher, because my girls know me, they know that if I ask them to do something, there's a reason for it. They know my nature, and therefore they trust me that I'm not going to ask them to do something which is impossible or not for their benefit. In Matthew 7 verse 11 it says, "If you then, though you are evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father in heaven give good gifts to those who ask Him?" God is a good God, and if we really believe that He is good in nature and that He wants the best for us, that His character loves us, then it should be easy for us to trust Him, knowing who He is. Secondly is a belief in the power of Christ. This man in Luke never doubted, this Roman captain never doubted that Jesus would be able to do it. It wasn't even a question to him. He knew Jesus could heal. He knew that of His power, and so he trusted that He would do it. He had this unwavering belief. And if I bring it back to a classroom situation, about 600 times in a day I get told, "My pen is broken. I forgot my sports clothes. I had a fight with this one. I fell on my face and need a plaster." There are a million problems that get brought to me in a day. And there's never a moment where they don't believe I might not be able to fix that problem. It's like they just believe that I can fix everything. And in Matthew 18 verse 3, I think this is why Jesus says, "Truly I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven." And we can learn so much from children in this situation because they trust in Christ. They trust in those older than them or wiser than them or just in authority over them. They trust in their power, and they model to us how we can then build that trust is to believe that God has the power to fix any problem ever that we might face. So thirdly is the belief in the plan of Christ in our lives. And this is where I'm kind of working through at the moment, or what I'm working through at the moment. Because it's really difficult to trust that God's plan is better than a plan that I could make myself. Even though I've seen it time and time again that His plans are good and that His purpose for my life is good, I still struggle to trust simply that His plans are going to be greater than mine. But in Proverbs 3, verse 5 to 6, it says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight." Our own understanding, especially as we get older, cannot fathom God's perfect plan. It cannot fathom His power. It cannot fathom such good nature and such good character. And therefore, it tells us in Proverbs, don't lean on that. Don't lean on your own understanding, because we can't fathom the trust that we can have in Christ. And instead, we've got to just give ourselves over to Him and trust in His plan, trust in His nature, trust in His power, not to overthink and doubt. We've got to take ourselves back to being grade 4 learners and unwire our brains to simply trust that He is a good God and He has a good plan for your life and for my life, and that He has a perfect nature, He has a perfect power, and He has a perfect plan for your life. This is something I'm going to keep working on, keep molding in my life, and keep trying to grow, is the simple trust. And I hope that this video encourages you a little bit more to see why we are able to simply trust in Him. And now it's just working on getting it from here to here. But I trust that it will happen for you and for me, and we're growing every day. But please let me know if I can pray for you into this area. I love you all lots, and have an amazing week.